So, you may have seen this video pop up recently from 90s comedy legend Pauly Shore. It was a lot. It was part rant about his career, part really bizarre confession, and part Hail Mary pass to get back in the game. It was chaotic, all over the place, and honestly, you couldn't look away. We're going to break down exactly what he said and what it all means.
Right out of the gate, he drops this absolute bombshell. He claims he did something so out of bounds that he got himself, quote, disqualified from one of the biggest live comedy shows on the planet. I mean, what do you even have to do to get kicked out of Kill Tony?
Now, just so we're all on the same page, everything we're about to go through comes straight from Pauly Shore's mouth, from his video. We're not fact-checking it. We are breaking down the story he decided to tell everyone. This is his side of what happened after one wild night in Austin.
So, the first big chunk of his story is all about this feeling of being exiled. He paints this picture of being systematically shut out of the comedy scene, and it all apparently started with that one night.
Okay, for anyone who might not know, Kill Tony is a huge deal. Up-and-coming comedians get 60 seconds on stage, and then they get roasted or praised by the host, Tony Hinchcliffe, and a panel of usually pretty famous guests. It's totally live, completely unpredictable, and for Pauly Shore, it seems like it was a major turning point.
And there it is. That's the core of his whole claim. He says that after he was a guest, security literally pulled him aside and told him he was never welcome back. So according to him, this wasn't just, a bad set. This was a formal ban.
And the fallout didn't just stop with the podcast. No, he says it spilled over to the actual venue where Kill Tony tapes, which happens to be Joe Rogan's super popular Austin comedy club, The Mothership.
But here's where the alleged ban gets kind of weirdly specific. He claims he's not allowed in the big room, the main stage, but only on Mondays, when Kill Tony is happening. He then says he is still allowed in the club's smaller venue, the baby room. It's such a strange, almost bureaucratic kind of punishment he's describing.
And you'd think it would end there, right? Nope. After that whole Kill Tony thing, Shore says it started a domino effect. Suddenly, he's getting what he calls gag orders and legal warnings from all these other people in the comedy world. The story just keeps getting bigger.
So you could see the chain reaction he lays out right here. It wasn't just Kill Tony and the Mothership. He says he also got told to stop mentioning the music series Jam in the Van, and then he claims he got an actual cease and desist related to the Bad Friends podcast with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino.
He makes it sound like his inbox just suddenly blew up with emails from lawyers, all telling him to stop talking about these other shows and people. The way he tells it, it's like the entire comedy scene was coordinating to just shut him out.
All right, so just when you think you have a grip on this story about comedy drama, the whole thing takes a sharp, hard left turn into something deeply personal and frankly just plain weird. He completely switches gears from his career problems to his current living situation, and it's not what you'd expect.
And this is where it goes from strange to totally surreal. He starts talking to his dog Buster, and he frames his whole life right now in this really odd way. He doesn't say he's a renter or a tenant. He proudly tells his dog that they are squatters. Yeah, squatters.
Okay, let's try to unpack this. He explains he's in a studio, and the actual homeowners, who are his landlord's parents, have both passed away. Because of that, and because of what he says are California's laws, for which he gives a shout-out to Governor Gavin Newsom, he claims he's legally unevictable. It's a wild justification for his living situation.
And you have to understand the vibe of the video. It's not just a list of complaints. It's filled with these bizarre moments, like him trying to hypnotize his dog or cracking open a Gatorade mid-rant, and he keeps joking that he sometimes has to eat his dog's expensive food because things are tough. It just adds to this overall chaotic, almost dreamlike feeling. So all of this, the bans, the legal threats, the squatter stories, it's all been building to one final thing. This is the moment the rant pivots from being about his problems into a direct mission for his fans. This is the big ask.
After all the drama, after all the chaos, he gets to the real heart of it. You strip everything else away, and the motivation is actually really simple and kind of sad. He just misses acting. He just wants to work.
So he completely changes his tune. He stops talking about all the things that have been done to him and starts telling his audience what they can do for him. He truly seems to believe that his fans are the only ones with the power to bring his career back.
And he's not vague about it either. He gives them a crystal clear step-by-step battle plan. He wants them to launch a targeted social media campaign, hitting up all the big streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon, and demand that they put him in a movie. He literally calls it his Hail Mary.
He knows how this looks, right? He seems totally aware that people might see this as desperate, so he gets out ahead of it, insisting this isn't about desperation. He says he's doing this because he has a deep passion for acting, for doing what he loves.
And this quote, this right here is the whole point of his video. It's his entire thesis. In today's world, he believes the fans, you guys, have more power than the agents, the managers, and the studios. And now he's putting that whole theory to the test.
So after all that, Pauly Shore's rant leaves us with this huge, fascinating question. I mean, we've seen fan campaigns bring back TV shows, we've seen them get alternate cuts of movies released, but can they actually force a major studio to cast an actor? Whether this whole thing works for him or not, it's a pretty wild look at how celebrity, fans, and power all collide in 2024.